Hello, MCU fans. Today we're going to do something really interesting. We're going to take a look at how the slate for Phase 5 and Phase 6 has changed from what was originally announced at SDCC and D23 in 2022 versus what the slate looks like today. And oh my goodness, so much has changed. I think by the end of this video, you're definitely going to see why Kevin Feige didn't really give us many firm slate updates this time around. So, lots to discuss. Let's dive right in and see what we can find out. Don't forget, we have an August contest running all month long. Be a subscriber, leave a comment. You could win a book or a steelbook. Best of luck. And we have a membership option with lots of cool perks, so you might check it out in case you're interested. All right, so remember, Marvel has several divisions now: the movies, television, animation, the Marvel Spotlight banner, and we've even been promised a new special presentation. Kevin Feige mentioned it himself. So lots going on at Marvel. But let's start by looking at the 2022 SDCC release dates, which were then confirmed again at D23 in 2022. And let's see how much has changed from what, really ended up happening. So this is the slate they announced. Now let's look at what actually happened. Quantumania came out at the same time, no change there. Secret Invasion shifted about a season, spring to summer. Guardians also came out at the same time. Echo moved from summer of 23 to January of 24. Loki Season 2 shifted from summer to fall. The Marvels actually took Blade's date in November 3rd of 2023, and Blade, at least for now, is slated 2 years later, a full 2-year shift, and we're not even sure we're going to get it on that date. We'll talk more about that coming up. Ironheart also shifted 2 years. We know it's going to be in 2025. I'm guessing summer. We'll talk more about that in a moment as well, but that was a 2-year shift. Agatha Covenant Chaos shifted from late 23 to fall of 24, so about 9 months. Daredevil Born Again, of course, had a lot of reshoots, so that shifted a whole year. Captain America 4 shifted about 9 months, and Thunderbolts shifted about 9 months. So yeah, that's a pretty big set of changes. I mean, this is just 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they announced this slate, and only 2 of the items, Quantumania and Guardians of the Galaxy, came out when they said it would. Yikes. But now, you talk about carnage. Let's look at Phase 6. So they didn't tell us much about Phase 6, but they did say Fantastic Four is coming out, and that has shifted about 6 months, so not a big shift. Kang Dynasty has shifted a full year, all the way into 2026. Oh yeah, and it's not even called Kang Dynasty, it's called Doomsday now. And then Avengers Secret Wars. This is crazy. I had forgotten this. It was supposed to come out in November of 2025. Yes, we were going to get Avengers 5 and 6 in the same year, just 6 months apart. Now, of course, it's shifted a full 2 years, all the way to 2027. So that means if Feige's plans had gone as planned, we would have had the multiverse saga end at the end of 2025. And now it's going to go all the way into 2027, which no complaints there. I love getting more content. But it's just crazy to think that everything's kind of been delayed 2 years. And here's the biggest reason why. Look over on the right. 8 untitled projects. 8. Now, because those don't have specific days on them, that means they aren't movies, right? These are Disney Plus projects. So we never even heard what these are. I don't think it's ever been released. Now I can kind of guess. I'm gonna go with these 8. I think it's probably these 8 because we know Marvel Zombies is coming out. Wonder Man and Vision Quest have been firmly announced. I think Wonder Man's even done filming. Nova's been hinted at. Moon Knight Season 2's been hinted at. Armor Wars was going to be a TV show at one point. Young Avengers likewise. The only one I don't think we're going to get is Midnight Angels. I think that's probably not going to end up happening, unfortunately. Would have been cool. That would have been an Okoye series, basically. But yeah, look at that. So if you look at everything here that's in 2024 and 2025, and you include in Phase 5, there were 4 other projects that were in 2024. That's 15 projects Marvel was going to put out in 2024 and 2025. Oh my word. Now, granted, one of the biggest reasons this all shifted is the writer's strike. But I would argue the writer's strike gave Marvel an excuse to pump the brakes, push out these release dates, and get the quality taken care of. I think the real villain here, and many people blame Feige. Sure, he is responsible because he's in charge of Marvel Studios. But the real villain is Chapek. Chapek is the one that wanted 8 untitled projects to get Disney Plus membership, higher and higher and higher. 8. Oh my word. So this to me is why Feige at SDCC and D23 this time around didn't really give us a lot of firm dates. He got burned bad just 2 years ago. Look at how much has changed. So I think in hindsight, while I would have loved to have a full slate, I understand why he did what he did. Okay, so let's look at the few things we did get that were slate related. We know that Ironheart is coming out next year because they told us next year. Don't even know when, right? They didn't even tell us when in the year, just next year. We know that all the Marvel animation projects, and there were 5 of them, are coming out in the next 18 months. In particular, we know Eyes of Wakanda is 4 episodes and won't be out until next year. And Marvel Zombies is 4 episodes and won't be out, quote, for a while. So yeah, that's it. That's it for D23 and for SDCC from a slate standpoint. This is all the information we got. But again, I think it was smart for them not to give us details because, I mean, look what happened last time. However, we're fans, so we're going to try to guess. So let's try to guess at the Phase 5 and Phase 6 slate after all this carnage has occurred. So as I've done in the past, yellow is a Disney Plus show, red is a Marvel movie, and blue is a Sony movie. And yes, I do realize Madam Web, Venom, and Kraven are not part of the MCU, but they are Marvel properties. People are interested in them, so that's why I like to include them. Likewise, Hitmonkey and Moon Girl are not part of the MCU, but they're Marvel properties, so I like to include them. All right, so Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm going to keep that in November, even though no date has been given by Feige, but I think several outlets have said November. So, okay, fine. That means What If? I think I got to push it all the way to January. Maybe they'll do it over Christmas again. Because look at that. We have Agatha All Along in September. We have Your Friendly Neighborhood in November. And then we have Daredevil in March. I don't know where else to put What If. So, yeah, I wish we were getting it sooner than later, but I'm guessing we're going to get another Christmas or early January release. So let me know your thoughts. I think this is the first half of Phase 5. Now then, let's look at the second half. Okay, so Eyes of Wakanda, they told us is next year. Ironheart, they told us is next year. And then X-Men 97, I bet, has got to be next year because it can't fit. There's no room for it in 2024. Now, maybe we get X-Men in place of Eyes of Wakanda and those shifts, because I would like to get X-Men 97 sooner than later. But, I don't think it's going to be earlier than 2025. So let me know your thoughts on that. Then we have Marvel Zombies. I think that'll be Halloween. And then while I don't know what to do with Wonder Man because they've given us no real indication of when it's coming out, the rumor is it is done being filmed. So I could see it being the last thing in Phase 5 or maybe the first thing in January of 2026 for Phase 6. All right, so now let's talk about movies. So I just don't know what to do with Beyond the Spider-Verse. I really hope it comes out soon. It looks so good. But we did get some encouraging news. So the Times of India did an interview with the actor that does both Dopender in the Deadpool franchise as well as Spider-Man India in the Spider-Verse. And he talked about him returning as Spider-Man India, which is awesome, in Beyond the Spider-Verse. In particular, he said he's excited to begin recording for the film, which he described as a deep and lengthy production process. He said, I'm continuing on as Spider-Man India, and we're going to start recording for that in a few months, which I'm so excited about. The movie is deep in production. It's animation, so it's different. It takes a long time. We'll see when it's ready and when it ends up coming out, but I'm really excited. That was one of the biggest joys to get to play that character. I'm so excited to get another chance to do it again. So very cool. I mean, that's encouraging. So I'm going to go ahead and put it still on this June 27 of 2025 date. I mean, that's a date that Sony has reserved for a movie, and they have not removed it yet from their schedule. So, okay, I'm going to put it there for now. Let me know your thoughts on that. I don't know what to do with Blade. I mean, I don't think anybody thinks it's really coming out November 7th of 2025. I would love it if it did, but the bottom line is Marvel has not removed this date from their schedule. So until they do, I'm going to keep it there. But I will say, Feige did not mention this movie at either SDCC or D23, and Bob Iger did not mention it on the investor call. So it's not looking good for November 7th of 2025. And then Spider-Man 4, I had thought maybe we would get it in 2025. I'm now hearing a lot of really good theories about where it may show up. So I'm going to take it off of the slate for Phase 5, and we're going to see it show up in Phase 6 in a moment. So this is the rest of Phase 5 that I'm projecting. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think I got right? What do you think I got wrong? And what are you most excited for in Phase 5? Okay. Phase 6. So to talk about Phase 6, we need to talk about some updates that Marvel recently gave, and it was reported on by Variety, a very reliable source. So a couple things that are obvious. Thunderbolts now has the asterisk in the name. No big deal there. Fantastic Four added first steps to their name. Okay, no big deal there. Now notice, we're going to jump all the way down to Kang Dynasty being renamed Doomsday. Notice there's no mention of Marvel releasing or removing that November of 2025 date. So it's still on the books for them. Interesting. However, they did remove from their schedule a July 26 date. That surprises me. We're going to talk a lot about that. And then they added 2 new dates in 2027 in July and November. So what's going on there? Are those part of Phase 6 or are they the beginning of Phase 7? Very interesting. Okay, so let's talk about Phase 6. So what do we know from here? Well, we do know that they removed July 24th, 2026. So I'm going to put Shang-Chi then down here in the question mark row. These are all the movies that I really want to see coming soon that don't really have a place. Okay, so what do I think goes there? I think Spider-Man 4. I think the only reason that Marvel would remove a date from their schedule is to hand it over to Sony and say, Sony, this one's yours. At least I sure hope. So if that's the case, this might be where Spider-Man 4 is popping up. So it would be in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. That is very interesting. So we'll see how that ends up. Let me know your thoughts on that. Then I really love Doctor Strange having a movie, but I could see his storyline being resolved in Doomsday. Remember him taking off with Clea to fix the incursion? Maybe that gets resolved at the beginning of Avengers Doomsday. So I'm going to swap Shang-Chi back in because I really, really, really think we need a Shang-Chi 2. It's a bummer we have to wait until 2026. Maybe it's going to come out even earlier. That would be awesome. But I definitely think we're going to get the movie. So Doctor Strange goes down in the question mark row. In fact, speaking of that row, so again, these are movies that I really, really would like to see come out during the multiverse saga, but there's just not been room for them. Well, not for now, at least. So let's scrunch these and let's add in the 2 new dates that Marvel has given us, July and November 2027. For now, I'm going to assume these are part of the multiverse saga. They may not be, but I'm just going to assume they are. So I'm just going to put Doctor Strange back in there. I really want Doctor Strange 3. Probably not going to get it. Might be a Thor 5 instead, which I'd be fine with too. I love Thor. Or a World War Hulk. Who knows? But for this last date, I'm going to throw out Avengers Forever. I'm going to throw out that with basically Secret Wars is kind of a part 1, and that we end up getting a part 2. Because remember, originally, the multiverse saga was going to have 2 Avengers movies in the same year. That was their plan. So maybe they're going back to that. Maybe we will have 2 Avengers movies. They've just been moved to 2027 instead of 2025. Very interesting. Okay, and then of these 4 movies that I really want to see happen, I'm going to take Nomad out as the least likely. We'll see it show up later in my rumored and wishes page. But anyway, those are the 3, World War Hulk, Thor 5, and X-Men that I would love to see, but they don't fit. So I think we're not going to get any of them. All right. At least for now. We may get them in Phase 7. We're just not going to get them in Phase 6. So let me know your thoughts about this page and what you think is right or wrong here. Now let's talk about some of the things that don't have a place right now. So one of them is a special presentation. And here's all the different special presentations that have been discussed. I don't think we're getting any of those. I think when Kevin Feige announced a special presentation, it'll be about Doctor Doom. And maybe it is in between Avengers 5 and 6, or maybe it's even before Avengers 5. But yeah, I think with RDJ coming back, they need a special presentation to go into the history of his variant. And then we still have all of these movies that have been mentioned or rumored in the past and don't really have a place. I agree, Eternals 2 is just not going to happen, like, ever. I'm still keeping it on here so we never forget it, but it ain't going to happen. But I could see things like the Scarlet Witch, Nomad, and Black Panther 3 perhaps happening in Phase 7, because all of those would be very welcomed. And then there's these shows that have been discussed. I really want to see Midnight Suns. Please, please, Marvel. I'm fine if we have to wait till Phase 7. Just give us Midnight Suns. And maybe that's why they're delaying Blade even further. We'll just have to see what's going on there. But yeah, I really want that. But then some of these others would be great too. I'd be fine with a Hawkeye Season 2. 10 Rings looks interesting. So let me know your thoughts on these, which ones you wish were somewhere in the slate or which ones you want to see show up in a Phase 7. But yeah, hopefully this video has shown why I think Kevin Feige did not give us much of a slate. He got burned. He got burned when he did it in 2022. And he's like, never again, never again. He's going to stick to just the stuff in 2024 and 2025. And the rest, we'll just have to wait and see. So let me know your thoughts on all this. Also, don't forget, be a subscriber, leave a comment, win a book or a steelbook. And we have the membership option in case you're interested in that. And of course, I always love to mention the Discord. Here we are talking about the slate and people ranking what they're most excited for. Obviously, Daredevil Born Again shows up very high on a lot of people's lists. There are 1,600 people on the Discord, conversations 24/7, and we would love for you to be part of it. So I'm going to leave a pinned comment so you can join the Discord. Also, if you don't mind, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out more content, and we'll all continue to enjoy the ever-growing, the ever-changing Marvel Cinematic Universe.